Breaking news out of the NFL this afternoon. The New York Jets are benching Zach Wilson. That confirmed by our CBS Sports NFL insider Jonathan Jones. Wilson will not start this Sunday against the Chicago Bears. Wilson lost this past weekend against the New England Patriots in a game that he struggled mightily. This season, he's 5-2 as the starter. Both of those losses coming to the Patriots. But the Jets and head coach Robert Saleh making a move to bench their second overall draft pick from 2021. Zach Wilson will not start this Sunday. We now bring in the man who confirmed that news, Jonathan Jones. Jonathan, thank you for joining us. First reaction to hearing that the Jets are, in fact, going to move forward with it and bench Zach Wilson.
Yeah, not entirely surprised, Zach, especially when you consider that Robert Saleh didn't confirm that Zach Wilson would be the guy on Monday. You know, Saleh has really had this knee-jerk reaction. He is going to defend his players. There's no question about it. And so Sunday after that loss to the New England Patriots, that real bugaboo that has been the Jets for almost 7 years now, and certainly longer than that, that he said, hey, it's the furthest thing from my mind, making a quarterback change. And then you have the Zach Wilson press conference where he certainly did not seem to take any accountability, or at least not enough. Certainly that snippet, that clip where he quickly said no and was quite dismissive of the reporter, no matter what one thinks of the reporter's question. The guys in the locker room didn't see that in that moment. But then on Monday, Robert Saleh then becoming non-committal about Zach Wilson. Well, when that happens, when the head coach isn't sure who the quarterback is going to be moving forward, it's usually a bad sign for the guy who was just the starter the previous day. So not entirely surprising because, again, Robert Saleh was in a difficult situation. If you have a guy who was incapable of moving the football in the second half against the Patriots, yes, they came off a fantastic win against the Buffalo Bills. But when you look at the second half against the Patriots, the Jets offense punted the football 7 consecutive times. They didn't get the ball past their own 35-yard line in the second half. There's no way that you win football games in today's NFL by achieving or not achieving that, one may say. So not at all surprised. We're still waiting with bated breath on who the quarterback will be. It's unclear yet if Robert Saleh will announce that at the press conference or if he wants to keep some mystery before the Jets face the Chicago Bears on Sunday.
In that loss to the Patriots, Zach Wilson threw for 77 yards, completed 9 passes. How much of this do you think is a knee-jerk reaction to how anemic the offense was on Sunday, or a culmination of how he feels they've been with Wilson under the helm, given that they are 5-2 with him as a starter this year?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Zach. It's something that I think a reasonable person could maybe argue, hey, if Zach Wilson had gone out there and had that performance against, let's say, the Green Bay Packers, let's say a team that is not the New England Patriots, and we know the history of Bill Belichick and the New York Jets. We understand that this is a team that has absolutely had the Jets' number, and just a really tortured history this Jets team has had over the past couple of decades against the Patriots. That maybe if it were another team and that performance takes place, that maybe Zach Wilson is the starter next week against the Chicago Bears. But instead, of course, it was the Patriots. It was a team that really just had the Jets in stitches. And Zach Wilson, a guy who has thrown 7 interceptions in his previous 3 meetings against the Patriots, took care of the football, but took care of the football a little too much. Didn't take those shots. And so when you don't do that, when the offense looks so anemic, when you do need a jolt or an injection, look, it's hard to imagine that a Jets team that started out this way, that beat the Buffalo Bills the way that they did, that this is a team that ultimately is not going to make the playoffs, right? You don't really see it all that often, but it does happen. And the Jets have to caution against that because, you know, a loss here can compound and then another loss. You're going up against a Bears defense that certainly will give up yards and will certainly give up points. And so you have to right the ship in some way. I understand what Robert Saleh is doing, both from an on-field standpoint as well as a locker room standpoint, because you have a guy who goes up at the press conference at the dais and he acts entitled. And when, his play was what it was, you probably want a little bit more humility. And if the guys in that locker room are out there busting their butts and they don't believe that this quarterback can get them the football, can get them the wins, can get them over the 50-yard line in a game, a 3-3 game, then ultimately you absolutely have to make a move, or else guys in the locker room are going to look at you as the head coach and be like, bro, what are you doing?
Those 77 yards from Wilson, a career low. The Jets still have a chance to make the playoffs. They're only a game behind the Dolphins in the division, so it'll be interesting to see how they respond from here, who Robert Saleh will turn to as their starting QB. But for now, we do know that it will not be Zach Wilson this Sunday. He's benched. That's confirmed by our Jonathan Jones. He is Jonathan Jones. Thank you for taking some time with us. Make sure you check out the Pick Six podcast for more football and NFL news. The guys, Will Brinson and Tyler Sullivan, are getting you ready for the slate of games tomorrow on Thanksgiving. All the prop bets and all the information you need to know to make some money as you sit at home and enjoy the holiday. Check that out wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.